how you all doing? Hope you're all keeping safe out there. Today I have a Marvel Legends review, and it's one I've been waiting for a few days impatiently. I have to apologise to the people I bought this from. I think I must have messaged them about 3 times asking where it was, but it's a good figure. It's the Marvel Legends retro release Tigra figure, and this is a stunning figure, folks. This is top tier Marvel Legends. Yeah, it's a great figure. I picked it up from the phone feeks. That's not right. From the fine folks, that's better. Over at Comics and Cocktails. As always, recommend them. Great store. If you're in the UK, just go to them. They're brilliant. And yeah, I picked this figure up from them. I pre-ordered it a couple of months ago. It arrived a few days after I think I pre-ordered it with the Hercules figure, which arrived before this, but I'm going to review it afterwards because I have stuff put aside for that I need to sort out first. But this is a really good figure. And of course you all know my spiel, I'll go into the background of the character, but if you want like a more in-depth one, because I know Tigra's a bit more of an obscure Marvel character, not having appeared in the MCU or any animation in recent years, I recommend checking out the MEOW Marvelites channel. He does a great the origins of, and he did one on the origins of Tigra. So yeah, I recommend seeing that. But if you want like just a reduced Cliff Notes version, Tigra, her real name is Greer Nelson. She first appeared in 1972 as a different character called the Cat. Now, she's actually one of the first Marvel female superheroes to have her own title, which is kind of cool. Basic backstory is a young woman marries a police officer who's a bit of I'm not going to say chauvinist, but he likes to be the man of the house, shall we say. But one night while they're out, they hear gunfire, and well, this is a superhero origin, so as you can imagine, he dies. Yeah, so after his death, she tries to get herself a new job, tries to put herself back out into the world and make up for the time she sort of lost being herself while she was married. Though this being the 70s, there weren't many great job opportunities for women back then. But eventually she found work with an old professor of hers as a research assistant. But unfortunately, as I said, this is a superhero origin. One of the projects she was doing, which was I think Captain America, rather than a super soldier serum, it was using hypnosis, stuff like that, to sort of tap into the full extent of the human brain. But the person who was funding it was just trying to create an army of subservient women dressed as cats. Hey look, if you've got the money, you can do whatever you want, no judge, but actually no, no, yeah, if you have got the money, I'm still judging. He's a creepy guy. But her professor found out about this. He tried to kill her. Luckily he failed, but what he didn't know is that Greer had also been going through the treatments as well, and she'd been a very successful subject, so she was a lot stronger, faster, more agile, greater senses than the average person, and she got justice. And after that it span off into The Claws of the Cat as a short run, but still really good comic book series. And then a few years later the character would return in pretty much the series that would define her going forward. It was giant-sized creatures, and in this book, the very first issue in fact, it explains that on one of her adventures as the Cat, she was shot by Hydra agents, poisoned by an alpha ray weapon, which is very weird. And it wasn't just a gun, but it's sci-fi, it's comics. Her professor rescued her and revealed herself to actually be a member of an ancient race of cat people. Yeah, that is very, very weird, but as I said, comic books. And in order to cure her, her professor and her cat people transformed her into Tigra, the embodiment of their sort of greatest hero / warrior goddess. And this is where she became the Tigra we have today. After this she had her own series, Marvel Chillers, which I've got quite a few of these issues. They're really good, the covers are great, and she was a brilliant character in them, loads of fun. And after that, a few years later again, she appeared in one of my favourite comic books of all time, West Coast Avengers. She was an original founding member. Brilliant book. They did a 4-issue series, and then a year later a proper ongoing. If you can find the first 4 issues of the original series, they're really good. But yeah, when the series started again a year later, she was in it again as a founding member. As a really great character, lots of fun. Just really popped on the page as well because her design is just really colourful and energetic. And she's never really left Marvel Comics as such. She's had multiple series over the years. She's appeared in a lot of books, mainly Avengers books like Avengers Academy or Mighty Avengers. She appeared in that. She's also appeared in the recent Moon Knight series And like the last issue at this point, oh no, I mean at this point the last issue to come out, she was in it in a starring role alongside Moon Knight, which is kind of cool because they had a little bit of a romance back in the days of the West Coast Avengers. But it was really nice to have in that. She hasn't had much like media attention outside of comic books. I think like her most notable one was she was one of the main characters in the Avengers United They Stand cartoon. That was a really bad cartoon, and like the less said about it the better. But, but despite all that, she's still a really great character and a really fun read. And if you can find books with her in, I recommend reading them. And she's just really fun. And as you can imagine, as a lot of Marvel characters have by now, she had a Marvel Legends figure already at some point. It was actually like the early days of Hasbro. Or was it the end of Toy Biz? No, was it? Oh god, it was that awful wave. Like the Walmart exclusive one that was the Nemesis builder figure. And the figure wasn't bad, it was mainly reusing an old Sheena the She-Devil body, which was way too small and the articulation was very restricted. The colour and the painting and the details were really good. It's just, even when it came out, the body itself was outdated. Oh, that's just a little trivia fact. After she became Tigra, the costume she'd worn as the cat was eventually taken, adapted and used by Patsy Walker to become a Hellcat, who you might remember as being the singular worst character in the Netflix version of the MCU. God, yeah, she was terrible. But that's the background of Tigra, and onto the figure itself. This is a beautifully done figure. It's all new sculpting, I think. Like the arms and the legs are these new pinless sculpts, which themselves are brilliant. But not only that, there's also fur texture, sort of sculpted into them in places. It looks really nice. The sculpt doesn't get broken up by the articulation. You don't have those little pimply, pimples. What's the word for them? Well, the pins. You know, the pinheads. Just smooth legs. They look really great. Or smooth arms. She hasn't got a waist joint, unfortunately, but she has the upper diaphragm joint that female figures have. And I think hers is the most, well, that's the best range of articulation, shall we say, compared to all the others. And she has double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, universal joints at the shoulders, biceps, thighs, ankle joints, which are a little bit, on my copy at least, they're a little hard to move, but the articulation is there, just needs a little bit of careful pressure to get it going. And the paint on this thing is marvellous. It's sculpted. Oh, sorry, it's cast in a very orange plastic. Maybe a little too orange compared to like the source material, but it looks really good. She comes with other accessories, apart from like the calm head you already seen. She has like an angry, snarling one with the hair flowing back. Looks really nice. Maybe a little too toothy. Could have done with a little bit of a wash on the teeth, but I can do that myself. It has a matter of personal preference. She has both fists and clawed hands. They have a little fur textured detail on them as well. It's marvellous. She has a tail as well, I forgot to mention. The tail plugs in and is articulated. The fact it plugs in means you could also, if you want, like take it out to show the times when she didn't have a tail in the comic books, but it does leave a hole, which is a bit risque, shall we say. As I say, the articulation she's got is brilliant. You can get in some really nice, like, cat, tigery poses. Well, no, cat fighting poses, or like animalistic ones. They look really good, or you can have her lounging back like a lounge cat. Just, there's so many different things you can do with this figure. It's really, really good. My one in particular has just a little issue of the ankles being very tight and being very hard to get into just the right position to balance her, but apart from that, which I can probably fix myself, it's going to be easy to do really. She's an amazing, amazing figure. She just looks so cool, it's unbelievable. I'm just going to compare her now to some other figures in my collection. Up first, leader of the West Coast Avengers, it's got to be Hawkeye. This is the retro version. They look great together, the colours go really well together. They look good. The Silver Centurion Iron Man, yet again, they look great together, more West Coast Avengers. War Machine, looks good. Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman. You can kind of actually see like this is an older, sort of like stereotypical female buck body. And you can tell, especially with the double jointed arms, Tigra has more, I was going to say thickness, that's the wrong word, more body, more heft to it in a really good way. Nothing wrong with this Spider-Woman figure, just that this Tigra figure is definitely more athletic and powerful in build. Here she is next to Scarlet Witch. Yeah, again, looks really great. Though I can't wait to replace this Scarlet Witch with the one that's been revealed recently, the retro one alongside the White Vision. I'm going to have to get both of them to go into this little collection of West Coast Avengers I've got going on. Here she is with Moon Knight, who is throwing my colour balance off terribly. Again, both look really great together, and the two figures are two of my favourite characters, so look, this is really great. Here she is with just like a more standard book. This is the Captain America, the 80th anniversary one. As you can see, like, he's meant to be like 6 footish, so she's a little short. There might just be the angle of the photo, because like I don't think in person she doesn't seem like she's too short of a figure. But you know, she's how tall is she meant to be? Let's have a quick look. Oh no, she's about the right height. So yeah, she's not a massively tall character. So yeah, that works. And here she's next to a massively tall character, the Juggernaut from the Juggernaut Colossus 2-pack. I just threw this up here just so you can get a sense of what she looks like next to these larger figures in the current, the good era of Marvel Legends, shall we say. But she still looks really good. As I said, she's a great figure to have, and she's a really great addition to my West Coast Avengers collection. As you can see, I have most of them now. All I'm really waiting on is the White Vision. I'm obviously going to replace this Scarlet Witch with the one that's been revealed as going to be out at the same time as the White Vision. I need to track down a Wonder Man figure, though the one that is out is kind of a more modernish Wonder Man. I do like the classic look. I might get the modern one and see if I can find a different head to go with it. Actually, thinking about it, yeah, if I get the modern one, and maybe a repaint of the Matt Murdock head, because he's got the red glasses. There's a thought. And obviously we need a Mockingbird figure to go with it, or to go with these lot, but yeah, I really love how these all look, and it's my favourite group of Avengers, and I'm just so happy this collection has come along so well. Well, that's it folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you can get this figure, I highly recommend getting it. She's in stock now at most places like Comics. Pardon me. She's in stock now at most places like Comics and Cocktails, Kapow Toys, In Demand, Hasbro Pulse. She's easy to get at the moment, and I recommend getting her now while she is easy to get, because I can see this being a figure that sells out very quickly because it's just so damn good. Well anyway folks, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a comment down below and a like. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I want you all to stay safe, stay sane, and keep on rolling. And I'll see you all next time. Ta-da!